Okay, what's up? Ready to go? Hey, for us, this is it's an important first day. This is the first time we get everybody on the field at the same time, working together, helmets on, the whole thing. It starts to feel like football a little bit. Everybody's really anxious and excited and raring to go. We all love this game so much, and we've been having to wait and forever. And so, guys are thrilled to be out here working, and it was a great first day for us. And the build-up to it has worked quite well. We've stuck right with the regimen of the ramp up, and it seems like it's been okay for these guys. They're in pretty good shape and they're ready to go. And so as we get to Friday is really the first full speed practice for us. We'll see how that works and see how we recover from that. And if we get that done, then we're on our way.
What's the Chris Carson plan?
Chris has got some family stuff going on that he's had to take care of, and our hearts go out to Chris. He's going through some really big stuff with family members that he's looking after and taking care of. So he's fine and all that. This has nothing to do with Chris personally, physically or anything, but he has to do this while at this time right now. So I'm not sure how many more days it's going to be before he takes care of all that business. But they're trying to figure it all out, and it's back home too. So it's a ways away. So we got some stuff to work out, and we're in full support of what he's got to do to get this done.
I think that's death.
There's a couple things that have happened.
How different, I guess, is the practice you're doing right now, the accommodations you have to make because of all of this? Is it much different than your normal first practice would look like? Or?
A bit. It's a bit different. It's a bit different. But however, we've been ramping up to this. So it doesn't feel that far off. We've been testing perfectly since we got here, got back together. So we have some confidence if we keep doing the same thing, we're okay. And so. It's just there's one more day and then we're rolling and then camp officially starts. It seems like it's taken a long time to get to this. We've been here for quite a while. So, but everybody's contributed really well and really happy about it. And again, I mentioned earlier that the work we did in the off season with all of the virtual learning that we did has really benefited us because we're still in that mode now and our guys are doing quite well and. So we're well prepared for that. It's not like we're getting caught off guard there. And so we were able to take care of our guys, look after them, and still get our work done.
What have you been able to gather about KJ's progress coming off the shoulder surgery?
It's a marvelous return. He's raring to go. We anticipated that he could quite likely go on PUP. He cleared his physical flying colors. We'll still look after him, take care of him, but he's in great shape.
What's the timetable on Quentin Dunbar, his intake, and when do you expect him out on the field?
He's in town. He's here already in going through the protocol. I think his day is Friday, the first time he can really be here. So until then, he's got to go through log the days and the testing and all that, and get his physical done. I think his physical is on Friday. So that's a marker. Once you get to that day, then you're ready to re-enter.
Daryl Taylor, I know he went on the NFI and all that. Where is he in his progress from all
that? We got to see. He wasn't ready to go, and so we just got to. There's no damage to his knee. He just has to get back from the work that he's been doing. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take. He's done some treatments and things that take a week or so to take hold and all of that. Got good response from that so far. And I'm hoping like in another couple weeks that we will know that he's ready to get back in it and go. They're working with him right now, and he's dying to get back and all, but it's just not quite right. So we just got to take our time and make sure once he gets back, he's back for good.
Is that related to the injury he had last year, or is that different?
Yes, it is.
One more. Colby Parkinson, I guess.
I answered the first part of the question.
What he had last year? Okay.
It's still part of the recovery.
And one more on the Colby Parkinson.
He's doing great. He's ripping back here. He might have a chance here pretty quick to get back out. So he's making really good progress. His foot feels fine, and there seems to be no residual at all.
How did Rashad look when you got him in the building? Rashad, how did he
I haven't even seen him yet. No, he's going through the same protocols. He hasn't been here yet. I think he might be tomorrow or something like that. He's coming back, but it takes a series of days to log the test time and the breaks and all that to get through it. But we haven't seen him yet. But he's here.
Quentin Sullivan, when you guys originally drafted him, he was listed as a wide receiver. Now he's listed as a tight end. Looks like he's just solely doing stuff with the tight ends. Is that kind of where he's at now? Or do you?
Yeah, we drafted him to play tight end for us. Eddie had moved him, I don't know, last couple of years, and he's obviously a really big wide receiver, and he's got all the skills of receiving skills, the movement, in and out of his breaks. He's got really good hands. He's a really good prospect. So we're looking forward to his development. We're going to keep him right there, and he looks like he fits. He's almost 250 right now, so he's plenty big enough.
Is there in fact a false positive?
Yes.
Has this exceeded your expectations to go 2 weeks without?
Yeah, I just anticipated because everybody seemed to turn in a few here when they started up. Basketball and baseball did, and we made it through, and we've been very, very strict. But we consider we're working our own bubble, and we understand the theory about that, and obviously it's worked really well for hoops, and so in hockey as well. So we're just trying to stick with it, and our guys have to manage from a little more of a distance than just being locked up in a hotel. So, but our guys have been really strict about it. Leadership is really making a big deal to the younger guys, and so if we can keep carrying out a little bit, we'll be in good shape.
You were asked a couple weeks ago about the Saints and then the Cowboys. I guess the veterans are staying in a hotel, but are you staying with your plan of the guys going home if they have a home?
Yep.
Now that you've been around him for a little bit, what stood out about Jamal's acclimation to everything?
Well, he brings a smile to my face. He's really sharp. He's really competitive in that he really cares and he wants to know all the details. He wants to be corrected. He wants to be helped. He wants to be taught and coached and all that. He's got the kind of focus. He's got a unique focus that some great players we've had really demonstrated, and I just know that he's the real deal. You can see it on film. You can see it when you meet him, and he gets along really well. He has really high expectations for what he's going to bring to the team and how he's going to help out, but he also has a really cool thought about and approach about it that he knows he has to earn it every step of the way, and it's a great combination, and he's not too full of himself. He wants to be a great player again, and but he wants to work for it, and so it's all we could ask for.
You mentioned right when before this all started and guys were reporting about how serious it is, accountability, all those sorts of things, but is it nice in a way to have some case studies with the Indians sending 2 players home, the Cardinals are still shut down, the Marlins went through all that, just to where you can say this is what is possible if you don't individually take this as seriously.
Yeah, I kind of don't look at it that way, but we're learning from everything. We're learning from everything. There's a ton of lessons out there. Colleges have been through a lot too, in their off-season program, the work that they did in prepping for the college season, and so we're trying to go to school on everything that's happening. And it was, it took basketball a little longer than we thought. We thought, they're going to start up July 1st, but it took them a while to get ramped up too. We needed all those days and all those reps of learning, and so everything helps. But I'm not looking for people to have problems so that we can learn. Doesn't register.
How different, without having fans out here and things like that, does it feel?
It is different, yeah, and I miss that already. This is the fun part of coming to camp is that we get to share it with our fans and all that. You can feel it. There's a difference. So we just got to send the messages through the airways some way that how things are going, and hopefully you guys can really keep everybody abreast of what it's like, and they can stay with us as we go through it.
Do you consider Shaquem a defensive end?
He's got the latitude to play, in some different spots for us. He's an outside backer, though. He's an outside backer that rushes. So I wouldn't call him a defensive end, but he plays in the defensive end spot. So he's learning the linebacker spot, the Sam spot, and he becomes a rusher in the nickel stuff.
John Boyle.
That's goodbye, John Boyle.
Yes, Coach. Obviously, there's been a lot of excitement about Marquis Blair potentially in that nickel role.
Which one is you, John? Are you on the screen there?
On here, blue mask, too much hair.
Okay, good. Yeah. Got a little Stephen Colbert going there. Okay.
There's been a lot of excitement about Marquis Blair potentially in that nickel role. What does he need to show you to prove that he's ready?
He's just got to be in there a ton, John. He's just got to get there and get the reps and get comfortable with it. He can do everything that you need to do there. He just hasn't had the background of experience doing it, so he's a rook at that spot, but we've conveyed to him, the different aspects of it are like this as a safety, or like he's played before, and like that, and things that he's done. So he just has to incorporate it all. He's in a spot where the ball comes his way a lot, and he's a ball player and a ball hawk type of kid. It's a cool spot for him. He's got to work on his coverage stuff. We've got to bring him along in all of that, the combinations of things that he does there. But the fact where he can pressure from there and make his hits from there, we'll see. It's going to take some time. We got a month to figure it out.
Is Alton Robinson, is he heavier than he was when you guys drafted him?
He might be a little bit. Yeah, he might be. I think he's 67 or something like that. If I'm right, I don't know. He was a little bit less than that. He worked out really hard this offseason, lifted a lot. Probably could have run more, and he really wanted to get as strong and as stout as he could get. And so, as a matter of fact, I just talked to him today about it, and he wants to make sure that he's at his quickest weight. So we're working on that one.
Do you still see him as a Leo more than a 5 technique?
Yes.
Chris Francis.
Dave, you're doing really well, man. You're impressive.
I'm fast.
Am I beeping?
Coach, you mentioned Carson and Penny, but can you talk about the rest of your running back depth there and how important it'll be to get those guys going in the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, T. Homer had a really good finish to our season, and he had a really good year on special teams, showing his competitiveness and his toughness. But when he got a chance to play late in the year, he did really well. He had an incredible offseason. He's just as jacked as he's ever been, and he's the kind of kid that he's so tough and his mentality is so strong that he's going to help us. He's going to help us at the running back spot. He's got great perimeter speed. He's catching the ball really well. He really hits the line of scrimmage, so he's there. To take and add, Carlos Hyde to this group is really something for us. I think that you all know, you've been around us enough. You know the style that we run with, and we've loved the way Chris Carson has run. Well, they're very similar in what they bring, and so it's a downhill 1-2 punch from those guys. The speed that we get from Rashad, and all of the variety of plays that Rashad runs, and then with Homer, it's a nice mix. Interestingly, to add to that is that DJ Dallas has made a really good first impression. He's very versatile. He catches the ball well. He runs well, runs routes real well. Has a background of running routes as a receiver. Has a quarterback background all the way back to high school. He's got a real versatility to him. So I'm anxious to see what he can do. He's over 220, 222 or something like that. So he's stout enough. But he's made a good first impression with us. We're anxious to see what happens when we get in the pads and all that. So it's a very, very competitive group.
Matt Calkins.
Coach, you mentioned college players a little earlier. Just wondering if you have any thoughts on Pac-12 and Big Ten shutting down, and what the future might hold for college football.
Yeah, those are monumental decisions that were made. Just because we're so all of us accustomed to, the institution of college football and all, and so it sets you back, and it's startling to think of it. But these are not normal times in any sense, and they call for, extraordinary decisions and leadership and all of that. And they've chosen first and foremost to take care of people. They're not just the players, but the people that would go to the games and what's going on around campus and all that. They made a choice to take care of people first. So those that have chosen that way, I support them 1,000%. I think it's, those are difficult decisions. And the other clubs the other conferences that are going for it, that they're really digging in. They're learning from everybody to do it right, and we'll see how well they do. I hope that they can do it and keep people safe. If the campuses are closed, then that's part of it. If the campuses and some of the state schools are open, then there's a lot of opportunity for issues and concerns. So I don't know the specifics of those, but I respect the heck out of the people that are making the decision on either way, because either way you've made a big statement, and so I'm always okay by taking care of people, and so that was a decision that the big conferences made. I get it.
How do you think you would have handled it if you were in that situation, if your season ended, and just how you would have taken it personally and how you would have, comforted your players?
Well, we would have dealt with the truth of it. That's how we would have started, and we would have talked about why it happened and what we're missing. And during these times, you don't get everything that you used to. This is not what this time is about. This time is about enduring and standing up to the challenges of it, keeping a great mindset, mentality, so that you can make it through it and help the people that need the help and all. And a good deal of that is not doing what you normally get to do. And so, I get to talking like a ball coach and say you got to suck it up. It's hard and it's challenging, and you got to figure it out. And we need to help the people who are having trouble helping themselves, and whatever that takes. So we would make it through it with an attitude that would look to the future. They're going to play football again, and it's not over for the rest of their life. It's just over for right now. I hope the seniors get another chance. I don't know how that's going to work out. I hope they get another opportunity to play their last year. If it's the springtime or whenever, this thing, we'll get through it eventually. But right now, it's mostly about attitude, and we would err on the side of big attitude, looking ahead and making something good happen, as soon as we could with it, regardless of what the scenario was.
Mark.
Hi, Pete. Same subject. Did you?
This is kind of like Hollywood Squares here, You in the money spot up there.
I'm Paul Lynn. That's my.
There you go. You're Paul.
Same subject. Did you happen to get a chance to look at that 12-page document, or your medical staff look at that 12-page document that the Pac-12 released publicly? I'm just trying to learn from you whether you or anyone saw what they saw, and is it influencing how perhaps you or the NFL might conduct your business with the virus?
I haven't seen that. One of our docs is on, is part of the conference as well, and so he represents that. And Dr. John Dresner had a chance to speak on behalf of kind of what the decisions that have been made and all that already. He was on CNN last night, so we have the benefit of knowing what they know and the information that they have, and we're trying to learn from it and grow from it as well. John, if you listen to John, in the last 2 weeks they learned something. So, we're learning as we go, and hopefully we're able, with the information we have, to make really good choices and help people do the right thing and all of that. There's a lot of young people that they're taking care of right there, So the decisions that they're made are hard decisions and all, but I know that they're working like crazy to get it right, and so we do have the benefit of what they know, which is good.
Just following up, have you heard much before these last couple of weeks about the issue of myocarditis and how much that is a factor with young athletes?
Well, no, I hadn't heard a lot about it up until the last few days, matter of fact, and I went right to the doctor and got schooled up a little bit on it, so I would know what's going on. And just to understand what is the concern and how does it affect how we're moving forward. And so they're studying like crazy right now. They're trying to figure out and try to interpret what is going on. And they don't have enough information yet to be conclusive yet, but they do know that there's something going on. And so thankfully we're on it. And we're fortunate that John's on our side.
Thanks.
Mas Vida for the block.
There you go.
Thanks. Speaking of young people, Pete, did you see anything stand out with the rookie class, given that they probably have the hardest transition from being, college to pro during this offseason today?
Yeah, it's a really good observation. As we go through this, we'll see what the result is. What I do know is the guys that we chose and we picked in the draft, they all applied themselves during this offseason. They all were learners. They were curious. They were anxious to figure it out. They showed good effort and diligence and imagination as we're playing this game totally on air and in their living rooms and in their family rooms and wherever they're living, their bedrooms. They're getting up out of their stance and they're taking their steps and they're trying to imagine what it looks like and all. When we got here, we didn't know what would be the retention, without any work on the field. When we got here, we've had a lot of walkthrough opportunities so far to kind of figure out how much did carry forward. this is as far along as we've ever been. And I don't know, I would never have been able to guess that would be the case. But it was because we dug in so much, and our coaches were so consistent, and were so creative, and these guys demonstrated the attitude that you're talking about and that you want, where they were hungry to learn, and so we get here and we jumped right into it. We didn't have to tippy-toe at all. Shotty's installation and where he went, our guys were going up and down the field with their stuff immediately. So we had a fantastic off season, and it came back and demonstrated that to us here. That doesn't mean nothing until we start playing. That's just what it feels like and what it sounds like out here on the field. But we got to go play some football, so we got a long ways to go. But that's what I'm saying. I'm really pleased with what those guys were able to carry forward too. It gives them the best chance under a very difficult situation and circumstances for young guys. They're not going to get the same opportunities that they get in a regular preseason process because there's no games, and where they're highlighted and featured. So we have to use our imagination as well as coaches and personnel people. We've got to really orchestrate the competitive opportunities on the practice field with the real intent of forcing guys to show who they are and what they're all about. And that's the plan, and we got to do a great job of that.
And staying with the hungry to learn, what does it say when you see a guy like KJ Wright? Just come out there from a leadership perspective, the off season he has. What does that do to the rookie class to see that?
Yeah, we're really fortunate that we have the guys that we have in leadership positions. KJ is an extraordinary leader. He's a leader to the older guys, but he's such a great example. He and Bobby are just they're so powerful in this locker room and with these guys because they do everything right all the time, and they're in it all the time, and they always show that they care, and they always show what it takes in all ways. So, for Cody and BBK and now Jordan to be right there learning from these guys, you couldn't ask for more. But they carry over to other guys. Dwayne Brown is a huge illustration of leadership on our football team. Russell is incredible. Tyler Lockett with his work habits and his consistency. I mean, those guys are just they're so important to us, and we're just very fortunate. So I got as much as I could hope for and all that. It is really cool, too, and some of the kids that we brought in here are jumping in here and making an impression early. Jamal for sure will. He's going to affect guys because of the way he works and what he brings every day on the practice field and to the meetings. That kind of leadership from your top players is just so valuable. And we need them now more than ever. They've got to send the message of all of the stuff that we have to be disciplined about, and carrying the mentality and the conscience of always protecting the team, and it's so huge, and they're great at it.
Nico.
Thank you, Coach. I just wanted to know if is there one major conclusion that you could take out of today, whether it's how fit guys came in or how mentally ready they were to get going? Is there one big conclusion that you can get out of this first day?
Well, I would. My observation would be that the mentality is right in the right spot. These guys have worked hard for it. They're excited to be here, so that the juice is there on the practice field. The coaches were pumped up too. So mentally, as far as we can tell at this early time, football-wise, and also just competitively, our guys are in a really good spot, and we're ready to take the next steps and keep climbing. This is a different camp now because of the competitiveness that you have to elevate to get ready for game time has got to come right here on the practice field. You can't use the preseason games, which I've always made a big deal about. We have to do it here. So this is more like it is when you're in college, and we've got to just generate the right frame of mind. Our guys seem to be right on track, and I just got to make sure I don't screw it up and get them in the right place and give them the right direction so that we can really bring us about in a good way.
There was a couple of photos of Russell looking extremely fit. What have you seen out of him, during this first day? How do you see Russell coming into this season?
I haven't seen those pictures yet. Could you guys send those to me? He worked his tail off, man. He had a great off season. He was so disciplined about it. The effect that he had on other players is really obvious because he threw with a lot of guys over the course of time. Got together with a bunch of guys that you can just see the carryover. They're already talking our language. I mean, the work that he's done with Greg Olson and DK in particular, man, Philip Dorsett, we're rolling. And DK had a bunch of room to grow as a young guy. He had to learn Greg. Greg had to learn Russ, and same with Philip. And those guys are in here flying around. They look great. They look like they know what they're doing, they already are showing the kinds of detail work that you have to work to earn. And Russell really was in the middle of making that happen.
Danny O'Neill.
Hey, Pete. I know that Quentin Dunbar wasn't on the field today.
What's up, Danny?
But hey, how are you?
Are you in New York?
I am.
Cool.
We just got a piano at our little apartment here. My wife's playing it right now. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Good.
Yeah.
I got one too.
I've heard you play. You're pretty good.
No.
Quentin Dunbar.
Just kind of fat finger blues, just kind of a lot of sloppy stuff.
I know Quentin wasn't out there on the field with you today. How big is the fact that he's going to be available to practice and to compete with you guys?
He's a good football player. He's a playmaking guy, very creative, really a good consistency over his years. Got good size, really good tackler. I think he didn't miss a tackle last year or some crazy number like that. So he just adds to the competition, should make us better. It's going to put the pressure on our guys to step up once he gets going. He's a ways behind right now, because he's missing this time, and he needs to. We need to make sure he's in good shape and get him started well. But very competitive player, and we're just trying to get a little bit better at a lot of places, and then he might help us do that.
Last question, John Boyle.
Oh, bring it home. Double up on John.
Coach, I don't know if you heard or not that Howard Mudd passed away today.
Oh, yeah, I did hear that.
How often did you cross paths with him, and just the impact he had on the game of football?
I grew up watching him play, when he was with the Niners. And so, for whatever reason, you don't forget the name Howard Mudd when you're a guard. And I don't know. I've known of him and, kind of loved him for a long time from afar. His coaching that he stood for is really he's famous for the way he handled players and handled groups. There's a lot of young coaches that wanted to be as good as him, and because of the work he did. He's a tough guy. He's always been a tough guy, and I guess he got hurt on his motorcycle. Is that right? Is that how that happened? And that's fitting him going for it. He's kind of been a tough guy his whole life, and so. Anyway, we'll all miss him. He's a good dude.
All right, thank you, everyone.
See you.
Thank you.